We survived Boko Haram. Jibrin went back to school. Jibrin was only 6 years old when it happened. Over the weekend, he had fallen ill and rashes had developed all over his body, his neck to back. So on the 1st of July 2014, his father took the youngster and set out to get a diagnosis and treatment at the government hospital in Maiduguri, capital of Borno State, in the northeast of Nigeria. As they passed that morning, a bomb placed by the insurgents in a parked vehicle laden with charcoal exploded. Jibrin's father died instantly. He was one of the 35 casualties whose deaths were confirmed by NEMA officials. The boy was rushed to the hospital, but the damage had been done, and his face was permanently left disfigured. Now, he is one of 30 children being homeschooled, growing with other children his age in an atmosphere of love and friendliness, and getting to eat 3 square meals on a daily basis. Like the other children, Jibrin is also taught 6 subjects: English, Arabic, mathematics, social studies, history, and agriculture. Over the course of every week, by Malamuma, the father of the house, together with 3 other teachers who equally live there. Like the other children, Jibrin will also get a chance to be integrated into other schools in the metropolis and a chance at higher education in a couple of years. But there is work to be done. There are regular medical checkups, but reconstructive surgery is needed. And for now, he wears a mask on his face to keep his ears and skin in place. One big man visited the house and made a pledge to pay all his ongoing medical bills. But his pledge was only a pledge. The child needs more surgeries, many more surgeries.
Without further ado, I'd like us to put our hands together and welcome Eromo Egbejule to take some questions. Tell us one of your most memorable experiences whilst conducting these interviews.
I don't think I can pinpoint one because there were so many moments where I felt like I was overwhelmed. For example, the last story that was read, Jibrin, for like 5 minutes, I just sat there, holding my camera. I was going to take the photo, but I mean, this was a child who had done nothing wrong to anybody in the world, having to go through this probably for the rest of his life. So that was pretty overwhelming for me. And then again, when I talked to the guy who had gone through, who had seen 12 attacks, right? His 13-year-old child led her siblings through the bush for days or weeks. And, there was no knowing whether or not he would see them, whether I would ever meet them again. And there was also no guarantee that him and his family, the rest of his family who were in Maiduguri, were even going to survive. So there were so many overwhelming moments that I can't even remember, so.
Okay, now these people, as you met them, did you bond with them? How did you communicate? So we don't know, well, I don't know their level of education. So did you need a translator? Did you need somebody to help with the language? That's number one. And then did you bond with them? So did you want to live there?
Well, bonding is relative, right? Well, there was some level of understanding that, we're both human beings, so we have the gift of life which equates us as human beings regardless of where I'm coming from. We're alive. A similar disaster could have happened in the south, that could have also taken my life. So while we're there, we're on the same level. We know, anything could happen. As for being able to communicate with them, it will shock you to know that they are masters and PhD holders in these camps. For example, in Bama, there is a College of Education, which, by the way, now holds classes in Maiduguri. So, there were lecturers who were there, people who are now in the camp, they have not even a single naira to their name. So some of them could speak English, some of them could speak Pidgin. But then I had a fixer, an interpreter who was speaking Canary, because even though Hausa is the dominating language throughout the north, in Borno State, most of the people there are Canary. Like, there's so many people who don't even understand Hausa. So my fixer was, speaking to them. But then there were some times where, even though they were speaking a language that I could not understand, you could feel their grief. It was very tangible. So yeah, that's what happened.
We hear these stories and we feel bad and, feel sad knowing that it could have been different. But would you be able somehow, just adding to what the stories and, the narrative of what you've done already, how will you help people know exactly what to do? Why I'm asking this question is 2 days ago, a company in the US contacted me and they wanted to do stuff, in the IDP camps and all. But the thing is, they sent me these full points on all of that, but I don't know what to tell them. So if you want me to refer them to you, I would really love to, because at the end of the day, that means we're doing something about it, because you've been there, you've seen these people, you've bonded, you've connected with them, so you know what they need more than we do.
The Future Project has compiled a number of organizations that anybody wanting to donate or coordinate relief materials with can immediately reach out to. So you could welcome to get in touch with them or with me.
It's not a question to you, because I doubt you'll possibly be able to answer, because a lot of the things are coming about, how can organizations get involved and all. And I don't think you might be able to provide that, because you've just done a great work in covering what has happened there. I guess that this sort of conversation should now get to, like Lala was saying, what can we do? And by we, in this case, for instance, I find that every time there has been a major humanitarian sort of disaster or in any part of the world, I will use Hiroshima as an example in Japan. When that happened, immediately after, a few years later, a few corporate organizations had to come together to actually say, you know what, we cannot allow this to sort of wipe out the entire region of the world. And I think that the organized private sector is very key to this in terms of being able to do something about this. NGOs are great, government, we know. That's off record. But I just think that maybe from this room, if there are people who run small, medium enterprises, large corporate organizations, and if there's a way to come together and begin to, the first thing that people need, like you said, psychological, integration back to society, food, water, money, and all of that. If there's a way to sort of organize the private sector to start to get involved and start to sort of shine, put them on the spot, and literally, it has to start with some of us here that run companies that can come together and begin to use our different platforms to do something about it. But I think it's going to have to go beyond NGOs and definitely beyond government agencies to now private organizations that actually can creatively begin to do something about it.
This question is necessarily not directed to you, but it's even also not directed to us in this room. It's a question for the entire nation of Nigeria. Because at some point we have to get to the point where we cannot keep having people who survived Boko Haram. We have to get to the point where it doesn't even exist at all. I have lived through a tip of the iceberg of crisis. I grew up in Warri, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the crisis that happened between 96, 98. I have been in my classroom where tear gas was thrown into the classroom, and you have your teacher saying, oh, all of you put your head in the bucket of water. I remember so vividly. I was 8 years old. We couldn't go out, we didn't go to school for months. So I kind of understand a little bit of chaos. But this is what, 16 years down the line. I can go to Warri right now and I'm free. Because somebody woke up one day and said, you know what, it's good to have aids, it's good to bring solutions, but what is the root of the problem? Are we ever going to get to the point where the root of the problem is solved? It's very, very close to home because I understand what it means to be in chaos. So I feel like it's a question for the entire nation of Nigeria. We need to get to the point where we say, you know what, this is the root of this problem. I work with cancer patients, and at some point I had to say, you know what, enough of palliative care. We need to start doing preventive care. What are we going to do to stop this thing entirely? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iromo. Is there anything you want to say that you haven't said?
Okay, I want to thank Red Media and the Future Project, because initially when I came up with this idea, you struggle to find Nigerian people in Nigerian media who believe in these stories and want to fund them. So that's why it pains me when people lambast Nigerian journalists as being press release journalists. It's because there's no funding, but then there are people, there are publishers like Red Media that believe that these stories have to be told regardless of how much how much the budget is. We just have to tell the stories. And so they find a way to raise the budget. So for that, I'm going to say thank you, the Red Media.
There are different steps here on how to take immediate action. Just go to YNaija.com. It's on the homepage. Please download this e-magazine and bond more with these stories. The more you read them, the more you are brought to the consciousness of what's really going on. And in this room, some of us have committed to doing certain things, using what we have, not necessarily waiting for government. And he's charged us to commit from our pockets. Kola spoke about corporate bodies and people coming together to do things. We have to do things. The truth of the matter is, fora like these are good, but we need to take the conversation even further by doing something. So I'd like to call on the team lead, the Future Project, Bukola, to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. Once again, to read the full stories from the website, you can download it for free on YNaija.com and thefutureafrica.com. Also, to support, you can meet Iromo after the event and speak with him directly on how to donate. We already projected the organizations we are working with, so you can support. Thank you again for coming, and God bless you.